Coming up on News Live at 6, a deep dive into the new polling in battleground states.
Plus, SU College Republicans hosts a controversial guest, what he had to say on campus.
And a new partnership on campus, the new steps to aid student finances. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
We begin tonight in the battleground state of Wisconsin. Welcome into News Live at 6 on this Thursday evening. I'm Ronnie Parrillo.
And I'm Ilana Epstein. Vice President Harris is joined by Liz Cheney in the birthplace of the GOP. Former Congresswoman Cheney was the top Republican on the House committee that investigated the January 6th riot. She later lost her seat to a Trump-backed candidate. She endorsed Harris for president last month, along with her father, former Vice President Dick Cheney.
And while Harris is in Wisconsin, former President Trump held a rally in Michigan earlier today. Both candidates trying to win over voters in those key swing states. Our Alex Burstein explains the latest polling from those battleground states. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Ronnie, thanks for having me. And this map, empty right now, but a month and 2 days from now, it's going to be filled in with red and blue. But there's 6 states to look at, and we'll start at the 3 southern ones, our Sun Belt states that are really going to help control what this election looks like. You have Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. President Biden took Georgia and Arizona to get the win in 2020, but the margin's very thin heading into 2024. We'll start off in the Grand Canyon state of Arizona. These are New York Times polling averages from all the major pollsters in a very narrow margin right now, but Trump is in the lead 49 to 47. He really has to win all 3 of these states to have a chance at getting back in the White House. A similar lead for him in Georgia, another state that Biden won by just the narrowest of margins in 2020. It's a 1-point lead right now for former President Donald Trump, 49 to 48 in these polls. And then the third one, a little bit of a surprise. The Republicans have enjoyed leads in North Carolina since 2008, but very close margins again here, 49 to 48, Trump with the lead. Once again, he needs to win all 3 of those, but Harris knocking on the doors, and if she wins one of those, it will make her path to the White House much easier. We talked about the South. Now we're going to move things up a little to the northern battleground states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. That's the big one with its 19 electoral votes. We'll start off, though, with some Midwest states, and beginning with Michigan, 49-47, a very slight lead for Harris. She's struggled at times in this state, but has the little lead right now and trying to keep that. How about over in Wisconsin, a battleground state, as battleground as it gets, back and forth between Republican and Democratic candidates. This is actually the only state that has either one of these candidates at the 50% threshold, but as you see, just a 2-point margin, very close right there. And then the final state, Pennsylvania. This is the big one. We mentioned 19 electoral votes, really sold the election for Biden in 2020. And Harris hoping it can do the same here, but just a 1-point lead right now, 49-48. Very close margins across the board. We'll see just about a month until Election Day, but for now, back to you guys.
Alex, thank you. Syracuse University is partnering with Barnes & Noble College to manage the campus store. According to Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer John Papazoglu, the focus is on affordability and accessibility for students. Earlier today, CitrusTV spoke with Tanner Beauchart, the Student Association Vice President of Academic Affairs, about the reasoning behind the partnership.
Doing a cost analysis, can my grade suffer if I can't spend this money? And a lot of times, sometimes it's a choice, and sometimes people just are literally not able to afford this, and that puts students in a very uncomfortable position of suffering academically because of personal financial constraints, which I think was not a good place to be.
On campus now, the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs is celebrating its 100th anniversary. The school opened after World War I back in 1924. A celebration will be held later this month to honor those in Maxwell who, quote, strive every day to make the world a better place. Now, the night will include a presentation of Centennial Scholar Awards to selected students and certain faculty, as well as staff and alumni. They will also be recognized. The celebration will be held on October 18th from 4 to 7 p.m. in Shine's Goldstein Auditorium. Ilana, I think it's 10 out of 10 day today here in Central New York, I would say.
It absolutely is. I'm so confused, though, because it was raining all week. I mean, of course, we get to Thursday, Live at 6. The weather had to be perfect for Thursday, Live at 6. How could it not?
The sun shines when we anchor the news. I guess it's just kind of a rule. But here to tell us if that sunshine will stick around is Jackson Breslin, enjoying that beautiful weather outside. Jackson?
Thanks, Ronnie and Ilana. Well, it is absolutely gorgeous outside today. 69 degrees at the moment, a little bit of cloud coverage, a little bit of wind, but really nice out. Now, around the region, it's about the same just about everywhere. Syracuse is at 69, moving west, all the temperatures are at 69. Moving east, it's a little bit cooler, all the temperatures are at 66. Ithaca is the only one that decided to be different. It's a little bit warmer at 67 degrees, but around the region, it's all pretty uniform. Now, heading into tonight, temperatures are gonna drop down to 60 degrees. It'll clear up a little bit, and it should be a beautiful night. So if you're going out tonight, maybe bring a little bit of a light jacket just so that you don't get too chilly, but it should be really nice. Ronnie and Ilana, that's all I have. I'll send it back to you.
Jackson looks beautiful out there. Thank you so much. Photos of New York Congressman Mike Lawler have surfaced of him wearing blackface. The photos obtained by the New York Times show Lawler at a campus event in 2006 dressed as Michael Jackson with his face visibly darkened. Lawler has not denied the photos and apologized, saying that the costume was intended to be a form of flattery. Lawler is currently running for re-election in the state's 17th district, which represents part of the Hudson Valley. He has also eyed a possible run for governor in 2026.
Preparing for this time of the year, we knew tensions would be high, particularly as we deal with the high holy holidays, as well as the advent of the one-year anniversary of October 7th.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul announcing heightened security throughout the state tonight as the Jewish high holidays are now underway. This comes as a result of tensions in the Middle East. There's also increased police presence at high-risk areas, including synagogues, yeshivas, and community centers.
Governor Hochul is also moving ahead with her home health care program, hiring a Georgia-based company to take it over. But a coalition of home care companies is pushing back on the company for their involvement in a class action lawsuit, saying, quote, Hochul is handing a New York home care's program over to a company that has been a complete disaster in every state they've operated. A spokesperson for Hochul noted in response that other New York home care firms have also been subject to legal action.
A school groundskeeper is facing charges after he was found with a gun and ammunition on a school campus in Seneca County. Police say a school resource officer found a long rifle and ammunition inside of a maintenance building. Now, officials didn't say exactly where the gun was found. That groundskeeper was arrested and charged with criminal possession of a weapon on school grounds. Officials say there was no threat to students or faculty.
New York residents will now be able to use their EBT cards for public transportation. Those eligible for the new program can swipe or tap their card at the fare box on Regional Transit Service Connect buses. Residents no longer need a separate bus pass. You must be deemed eligible by New York State and Monroe County Department of Human Services in order to use their EBT card for bus fares. The county plans to launch the full program by the end of the year.
This year, the Coalition of Museums and Art Centers has a new name and a new strategy. Citrus TV's Riley Fay has the details on how this will affect the university. Hey, Riley.
Thanks, Ilana and Ronnie. The newly named Arts at Syracuse University hopes to show the diversity of programs offered in the arts on campus and in the community. Kate Schwartz, the programming director from the Arts at SU, says art is a very broad term, but it encompasses so much of what is done on campus and in the community.
We have the La Casita Cultural Center, we have the UVP Urban Video Project, Lightwork. Syracuse Stage is part of underneath our umbrella.
This year-long rebrand highlights the facilities the arts have and the events that are open to all students.
With our new name change, we also have a new presence on the SU website. So we're easy to find now, and you can go check out our calendar, which should be up to date with all of our events. Really good resource for learning more about the individual entities, but also as a way to check out what we have on campus.
Like Kate said, the rebrand is not just a name change, it also highlights and unifies the work of all art programs on campus. For more information on programs and events, you can go to arts@syracuseuniversity.com. Ilana and Ronnie, back to you.
Riley, thank you so much. Coming up on News Live at 6, a plan in the works. The steps the Biden administration is taking to relieve student loans.
Plus, a controversial guest on SU's campus last night. What he had to say about the January 6th riot, that's all straight ahead when your campus news leader continues. this.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where the cats go on vacation? New York.
You're watching CitrusTV News live at 6 with Ronnie Parrillo, Ilana Epstein, and Jackson Breslin. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Israel is continuing attacks against Hamas and Hezbollah. The latest airstrike happened last night in Beirut, killing 7 health and rescue workers. It hit an apartment building, which includes an office of the Health Society. That's a group of civilian first responders, affiliated with Hezbollah.
This is the second airstrike in Beirut this week and the second to hit the Health Society in 24 hours. The Ministry of Health says the strikes in Lebanon have killed over 1,000 people and displaced more than 1 million from their homes over the last 2 weeks.
President Biden's student loan forgiveness program can take effect after a judge let a temporary restraining order on that plan expire. The lawsuit against Biden and Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona was brought in September by 7 GOP-led states. Those include Alabama, Georgia, and Missouri.
The states argued that the administration's rule, which would mass cancel student debt, would negatively impact tax revenue. If Biden's plan is finalized this fall, nearly 30 million people would receive student debt relief.
Last night's SU College Republicans hosted founder of #WalkAway campaign and convicted January 6th participant Brandon Straka.
Straka was originally denied the funding to support his visit by Student Association, but college Republicans continued with his appearance. Our Caitlin Campbell had an exclusive interview to see what the event was all about.
In Gifford Auditorium, more seats empty than filled. Only a handful of students gathered to hear the story of Brandon Straka on Tuesday, proven a controversial figure, especially heading into November's election. The college Republicans pushed for him to be here, after his visit was originally denied funding from the Student Association. That didn't stop him from walking up to the front of the stage and sharing his story.
I, as a gay man, started to see that I didn't have to be terrified when Donald Trump won the election.
And behind these doors at Gifford Auditorium, Straka speaks to his concept of awakening the youth, not being the typical woke.
The difference to me between those two things is I define woke as an indoctrination into a leftist ideology, and I define awakened or awake as thinking for yourself, being skeptical.
On the other side of the aisle, SU College Democrats has a different view. The club took to Instagram and shared its disapproval. Straka was involved in January 6th. He's accused of making statements in support of the January 6th riots. He's seen in a video posted to X during his visit to the Capitol.
I confess that I did, but it's up to you to see if you believe my confession.
Straka took a plea deal to avoid further implications with the federal government, but he says this process took a toll on him. How did that make you feel reading those statements of offense?
Suicidal. Literally every time, years later that I read it, it re-traumatizes me. They love being like, ha ha ha, you had to confess to something you didn't do, and they love writing that down. And it's really horrible. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I would equate it to like if a woman was raped and just half of the country was just constantly laughing because she got raped.
He's still supporting former President Donald Trump on his re-election campaign, Even if he isn't as enthusiastic to cast his vote, Strzok is still standing by this walkaway campaign and hopes the students in Gifford Auditorium will walk away with this message.
What we want with Walkaway is for people to do their own homework, do their own research, always seek the truth.
Caitlin Campbell, Citrus TV News.
Coming up on News Live at 6, I'll have your full 5-day forecast and some of my favorite traditions from America's pastime. Stick with us.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning?
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Live at 6. Taking a look at your 5-day forecast, tomorrow's actually going to be pretty warm, 76 degrees. But then as we head into the weekend, Saturday is going to be a little bit cooler, 69 degrees and sunny, should be a really nice day. And then Sunday, it's going to be back up to 75 degrees with some evening showers. Now, as we head into the week, it is going to get really cold. Monday has a high of 63 with a low of 48, and Tuesday has a high of 60 with some morning showers. Now, all this fall weather has got me thinking about, well, the Fall Classic. And so I wanted to talk to you, even though my Nationals are nowhere near winning another World Series, about some of my favorite traditions from baseball. So we've got to start off with a classic, the 7th inning stretch. Everybody sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." You have your last chance to get food and drinks before the game ends. And I'm not a Cubs fan, but I do love the tradition of throwing the opposing team's home run back onto the field. Usually home run balls are collector's items or memorabilia, but not for Cubs fans. And finally, you can't talk about baseball without talking about the legendary names. Think of Coco Crisp or Oil Can Boyd or Wonderful Terrific Mons III. Yes, these are all real people who have actually played baseball. And, you know, some might even say that baseball is an art form. Chloe, I know that you've got a story on a different type of art.
Thanks, Jackson. New rotating artwork on multiple streets in downtown Syracuse are on display for the community to stop and interact with local artists of Syracuse.
Medoma Art House has started art in windows, bringing rotating artwork to the streets of Syracuse from local artists. I spoke with Michael Schwarzer, co-founder of Medoma Art House, who told me why they started this project and how it's helping the community.
The Art in Windows program was definitely a great way to bring art to the community and at the same time activate empty storefronts.
The art in windows are on display during the day and at night. Along with every picture is a QR code that allows the artist to create an audio description to provide more information for the art piece. All of the art on display in the windows and at the art house are for sale, but their mission is to provide a sense of comfort in the community.
We have to do it regardless, and I think it starts with us. So if we get joy out of it, we can only hope that more people get joy out of it, but I think we are making a difference, you know.
At 210 Walnut Street, 111 West Onondaga Street, and 400 South Salina Street, people can partake in the interactive tour to see the beauty of the collections.
As the conversation started, I think it does a lot to people when they're surrounded by art. We need to show it, we need to see it in the community.
Now, Michael says the best time to see art in windows is at night to see the pieces illuminated by light on the collections. For more information about the gallery and purchasing, go to Midoma Art House website. Now, while the art exhibit is in full swing, Skyler, what can you tell us about sports?
Well, Chloe, some might say playoff baseball is an art form as well. It's in full swing, and one New York team is fighting for its life tonight. Meanwhile, Syracuse football hits the road for the first time this season. We have more about the Oranges' trip to Sin City, so don't go anywhere.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now, we've got something to say.
Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer
80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at WeSaySaveIt.org.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
The Mets are set to play for the 5th time since Monday, and again, the season is on the line. Welcome into sports. I'm Skyler Wilkes. After winning Game 1, New York had a chance to close things out last night. On the other hand, the Brewers were hoping to avoid a first-round series sweep at home. Let's check out what went down in Milwaukee, where the Mets looking for their first postseason series victory since 2015, and things started off on the right foot. Brandon Nimmo with an RBI double to right, so the Mets got started early, 1-0 in the top of the first. And the Brewers, though, had a quick answer. Jackson Chourio, first pitch he sees, hammers it to right field. That ball is gone. The youngest player to hit a home run, a leadoff home run in the postseason. That made it 1-1. And this is all just in the first inning. Top of the second, so 3 straight frames with a score. This is Francisco Alvarez, slaps it into center field, brings home a run. So the Mets now 2-1. And now we fast forward all the way to the bottom of the 8th. Jackson Chourio, I mentioned his name before. Well, how about another home run? Brewers trailing 3-2, and Chourio becomes the second youngest player to homer twice in a postseason game, the youngest since 1996. And how about another one for good measure? Tied at 3, still in the bottom of the 8th, and Garrett Mitchell with a 2-run shot. Brewers, from the cusp of losing this season, end up winning 5-3 and staying alive to knock off the Mets and force a Game 3. I mean, it is October baseball, so really anything can happen. But Milwaukee had previously been 0-26 in the postseason when trailing going into the 8th inning. Now just a game away from advancing in the playoffs for the first time since 2018. After the format was expanded 2 years ago, the Brew Crew could become the first team to win a best-of-3 wildcard series after losing the opener. And now New York is on the cusp of a 3rd straight first-round exit. First pitch from Milwaukee is at 7 tonight. We go back to the Bronx now, where the Yankees begin their divisional series against the Royals on Saturday. Unlike its Big Apple counterparts, New York got a first-round bye after finishing with the best record in the American League. On the other side, Kansas City may be the 5th seed, but shouldn't be taken too lightly. The Royals just swept an AL East team in the Orioles to win a playoff series for the first time since they won it all in 2015. And on the gridiron, Syracuse football battles 25th ranked UNLV on the road tomorrow. It's the first ever meeting between the two programs, so I'll give you some details. 2 weeks ago, the Rebels lost their starting quarterback, fan favorite of mine, Matt Sluka, due to an NIL dispute. Now, Haj Malik Williams is QB1, and he has certainly caught the eye of SU head coach Fran Brown.
It's tough anytime you're playing against somebody like Hodge who can run and throw. So it's a nightmare for the defensive coordinator and the head coach. You know, you think about it all week because he can like harm you a lot when it comes to him being able to run and then him being able to throw. But you just try to contain him. You know he's gonna make plays. You know things like that gonna happen.
Williams threw for over 180 yards and 3 touchdowns in a dominant win over Fresno State. The grad student also had nearly 120 yards on the ground with a score to lead UNLV to its first 4-0 start in almost 4 decades. SU also has a good quarterback, though. Kyle McCord leads the country in both passing yards and completions per game, while being 4th in total offense. You could probably expect the Orange to rely heavily on their signal caller. If McCord plays well, the Cuse could secure its 2nd win over a ranked opponent, which hasn't happened in the regular season since 2001. And that's all we have today in sports. Jackson will have one last look at your weather after the break. Stay with us.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, babe.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Taking a look at your wake-up weather, it's going to be pretty chilly when you're first getting up in the morning, 53 degrees, but then as we go through the day, 63 at 10 a.m., 70 at noon, and as I said earlier in the show, it's going to be pretty warm tomorrow, so enjoy that heat while you can because it's going to get cold as we go into the week. Ronnie and Ilana, I'll send it back to you.
Jackson, thank you. Ronnie, it's October 3rd today, which means it's Mean Girls Day and National Boyfriend Day. I know I avoided Instagram at all costs.
So they say. I mean, I am as single as that Cheerio that you find underneath the seat of the Honda Pilot like 6 years later that's just alone there.
That's a great analogy. Me too.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. You're my work wife.
And you're my work husband.
Right, so it works. It's not, you know, it's not all bad.
We could be looking though, so we're letting everyone know.
It's not like we're desperate, but we just wanted to come here on live TV and just tell everyone that we're single. So I'm accepting girlfriend applications.
And I'm accepting boyfriend applications.
So, you know what to do. There's no smash that like button, but we'll see. We'll get back to you next week. That is Citrus TV News, live at 6 for this Thursday.
Don't forget, you can follow us on X and Instagram at Citrus TV News. Now, for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Ilana Epstein.
And I'm Ronnie Parrillo. Gotta nail that. Have a great night, Syracuse.